The story of the Golden Goose. Gather round, my little friends, and listen to a tale of kindness, laughter, and a very special bird. Once upon a time, there lived a man who had 3 sons. The youngest son was called Dummling, and, oh my, how his family treated him poorly. They laughed at him, made fun of him, and thought he wasn't very clever. But just between you and me, Dummling had something much more valuable than cleverness. He had a good heart. One day, the oldest son decided to go to the forest to chop some wood. His mother, wanting him to be comfortable, packed him a delicious sweet cake and a bottle of tasty wine. "Take these," she said, "so you won't get hungry or thirsty while you work." As he walked through the forest, crunch, crunch went his boots on the fallen leaves, he came across a little grey-haired old man. "Good day to you," said the little man with a friendly smile. "I'm so hungry and thirsty. Would you be kind enough to share a piece of your cake and a sip of your wine?" The oldest son looked at the little man and turned up his nose. "If I give you my food and drink, I'll have none left for myself. Go away," he said rudely, and walked off. But guess what happened? When he started to chop a tree, ouch! He accidentally cut his arm. He had to go home to bandage it up. That little grey man had something to do with it, don't you think? Next, the second son tried his luck in the forest. His mother also gave him cake and wine. And would you believe it? The same little grey man appeared and asked for a bite to eat and a sip to drink. "What I give to you is taken from me," said the second son. "Go away." And, just like his brother, oops! He hurt his leg while chopping and had to be carried home. Finally, Dummling asked if he could try cutting wood. "Father, please let me go chop wood in the forest," begged Dummling. His father shook his head. "Your brothers already hurt themselves. You won't do any better." But Dummling kept asking pretty please, until his father finally gave in with a sigh. "Fine. Go ahead. Maybe getting hurt will teach you something." Can you guess what his mother packed for him? Not sweet cake and wine like his brothers. She gave him only a cake made with water and baked in ashes, plus a bottle of sour beer. Not very tasty at all. When Dummling reached the forest, with birds chirping overhead and sunlight filtering through the leaves, he met the same little grey man. "Hello there. Might you share a piece of your cake and a drink from your bottle? I'm so hungry and thirsty," the little man said, his eyes twinkling hopefully. What do you think Dummling did, dear ones? He smiled and said, "I only have this simple ash cake and sour beer, but if that's okay with you, let's sit down together and share what I have." So they sat down on a mossy log, and when Dummling took out his ash cake, wow! It had changed into a delicious sweet cake. And the sour beer? It had turned into the finest wine. They ate and drank together happily. The little man was so pleased with Dumbling's kindness that he said, "Because you have such a good heart and willingly shared what little you had, I will give you good luck. See that old tree over there? Chop it down and you'll find something special at the roots." And after the little man left, Dummling chopped down the tree. Timber! Down it fell, and sitting in the roots was, can you guess? A goose with feathers made of pure, shimmering gold. Dummling gently picked up the golden goose and decided to stay at an inn for the night. The innkeeper had 3 curious daughters who had never seen such a magnificent bird before. "Just one feather," thought the eldest daughter, "would make me rich." When Dummling went out, she tried to pluck a golden feather, but oh my goodness! Her hand got stuck to the goose. The second daughter came along thinking she could grab a feather too. "Stay away," warned her sister. But the moment she touched her sister, stuck. She couldn't pull away either. Then the third daughter appeared. "Keep away! For goodness' sake, keep away! her sisters shouted. Why should I? She thought, and reached out to touch them. And just like that, whoops, she was stuck too. The next morning, Dummling simply tucked the goose under his arm and walked away, with all three sisters forced to follow him wherever he went. Left, right, up, down, they had to go where Dummling went. As they were parading through a field, a local parson spotted them. "For shame," he cried. "You girls shouldn't be chasing after a young man like this." He grabbed the youngest girl's hand to pull her away, but he got stuck too and had to join the parade. Soon the church sexton saw them and called out, "Reverend, where are you rushing to? We have a christening today." He grabbed the parson's sleeve and became part of the growing line. Two field workers with hoes saw the strange sight and tried to help, but they too got stuck, making a line of 7 people trailing behind Dummling and his golden goose. Now listen carefully, little ones. In a nearby city lived a king with a daughter who was so serious that she never ever laughed. The king had promised that whoever could make her laugh would marry her. When Dummling heard this, he marched straight to the palace with his goose and the whole stuck-together parade waddling behind him. The princess looked out her window and saw this funny sight, a young man carrying a golden goose, followed by 7 people stuck together, struggling to keep up and tripping over each other. She burst out laughing so hard that she couldn't stop. Dummling had done it. He asked for the princess's hand in marriage, but the king wasn't happy about having someone called Dummling as a son-in-law. "First," said the king, "you must find someone who can drink an entire cellar of wine." Dummling went back to the forest and found a sad man who complained, "I'm so thirsty. I just emptied a barrel of wine, but it was just like a drop on a hot stone to me." "I can help you," said Dummling, and led him to the king's cellar. The thirsty man drank and drank and drank until, slop, every barrel was empty. The king then demanded, "Now find someone who can eat a whole mountain of bread." Dummling found another man in the forest who was tying a belt around his stomach and moaning. "I've eaten an oven full of rolls, but I'm still so hungry I could die." "Come with me," said Dummling. The king had bakers from the entire kingdom make a mountain of bread, and the hungry man ate it all in a single day, every last crumb. The king had one final challenge: "Bring me a ship that can sail on both land and water." Dummling returned to the forest and found the little grey man again. "Since you were kind to me before," said the little man, "I will help you now." And he gave Dummling a magical ship that could sail across land and water just as easily as you or I can walk across a room. When the king saw this amazing ship, he finally had to keep his promise. Dummling and the princess were married, and they had the most wonderful celebration you could imagine. After the king's time was over, Dummling inherited the kingdom and ruled wisely and kindly for many years. And you know what, my sweet little listeners? Dummling wasn't so dumb after all, was he? He proved that kindness and a good heart are worth more than all the cleverness in the world. And that, my dear friends, is the end of our tale of the Golden Goose. Remember, always be kind to others, even when you think you have very little to give. You never know what golden surprises might be waiting just around the corner. Thank you for listening, and I hoped you liked this story. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I have plenty more fairy tales for you.